Hi Insta, I hope you're good. Happy Sunday. So tonight's live is about Diddy, Biggy, Cassie and Dwayne Keith Davis. We are deep diving. I hope you're all good. I'll let you all join. Are we excited? I'm really looking forward to this live. I have a lot to get through, but let's catch up first. Thank you. We are 2 subscribers away from 7,000 subscribers on YouTube. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. Remember and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Remember and follow on Instagram. Instagram user really showing up. Thank you to all the new followers. Fell down far too many rabbit holes this week. Well, here comes the next one. This is more of like a summary of everything we spoke about, but we're taking it right the way back. Hi Maria, hope you're good. Hi G Thomas, hi Lainey. Hi Angela, hi Louise. I've recovered since Halloween. I've been sat waiting on YouTube for your live. Thank you so much. I will try and slow down on YouTube. It's greatly appreciated. Like I said, we are 1 subscriber off 7,000. I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. Right, let's see. Right, okay, so tonight, now I'm just going to ignore the comments for a bit. Don't worry if there is any trolls on. If I see them, I'll put them into timeout. But I tend not to bother too much just now because I need to get through all this. We have about 20 pages to get through. So get your notepads ready. We've got Heather Mitchell in the building on YouTube. She is one of my researchers, so have a look at her comments throughout the night as well. I will try and read them out as I see them. Thank you everyone for joining though. Great numbers. And remember and like and subscribe. The usual. Right, okay. So obviously the last few weeks we've been speaking about Kim Porter. We have spoke about Jag, you're right. Okay, a lot of you have asked in the comments today, what do I think? I think she's in hiding, genuinely. But I do think we're going to hear more towards Christmas around about her. But I thought it'd be good to focus on Tupac, Biggy, for the reason I do feel we're going to hear a lot about Tupac in the next 3 or 4 weeks. And also to go through the lawsuit around Cassie, so the allegations she's made and things like that as well. We sold Jada to Diddy. Oh, is that what you think? So Jada Smith as well. Want to touch on that because here we go, first one. Jada Smith was actually seen Tupac before Will Smith. And Will Smith had wrote a song saying that thank you to the 7,000 subscriber. I can't thank you enough. Thank you. And he basically said in an interview as well that he would never be able to live up to Tupac. So there's a connection there as well when we spoke about Will Smith and Jada Smith before. But that's not what we're coming on to. Right, okay. Let's get started. Thank you everyone for joining. I've got my glass of wine at the ready. Gillian Comiskey. Do you think that's a good idea when we're researching down a rabbit hole? I love it. I have to say I'm scared with the whole Diddy thing now. He was not the only one, but it seems celebs are being protected and there's a huge cover-up. It's so frustrating. There were others. It's just getting started. I always love these lives. Hi, Jen Arvin. Hi, Katie Anderson. Hi, Angela. Right, okay. So I want to take us right back to 1991 with Diddy. Now, he actually held a charity event and it was to raise funds for AIDS. And he held it in a hall where everyone got trapped. Now, they'd oversold in the tickets. Capacity was at 40%. And they'd shut the doors and everyone had broken down through the stairwell because no one came and told them that there wasn't enough room to get in. And 9 people died and they get trapped. Now, eventually the doors got opened and Diddy was there at that point and he made up his own story how he was helping everyone, but it was actually said that he was wanting to leave like as soon as everything was kicking off. I seen that about Will Smith and Tupac being with Jada. He thought he could never live up to standards and Jada loved him more, he felt. I agree with that though, completely agree with that. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because this happened in 1991. This could have been... Now, he didn't get held accountable for that criminally. He had to pay out damages to the families. But in 1991, is that when he made the connection with the police, the feds? Because he was very well protected at that point. Now, it was not a registered charity either that he was raising funds for. But again, nothing happened in round about it. I think it's important to bring it up way back from 1991 more because the connections with the police and how he got away from that and basically got away with it when no other artist would. And it was basically said as well as Diddy being responsible, it was also the venue for their health and safety, and the staff weren't trained either. Thank you for all your lovely comments. Right, okay, so I think it was good to touch on that. And like I said, not a registered charity, so don't forget that. Thanks everyone for joining. Right, okay, so Biggie and Tupac, all right, now they died within 6 months each other. Biggie was 24, Tupac was 25. Biggie was the East Coast, Tupac was the West Coast, so we need to remember that, all right, and I might need to remember to that because it's not that I keep forgetting, but yes, I do. I keep getting them mixed up. Now, they should have been enemies, Biggie and Tupac, but they were actually good friends. Apparently, Diddy was the third wheel, but it was said Diddy was fascinated with Tupac. So I've been down the rabbit hole all weekend more on the P. Diddy thing because we've looked into so many different things. I feel like I've not had a chance to actually deep dive that for a while. And by the sounds of it, his behaviours is once he's fascinated on someone, like he doesn't know the word no. And he's very much fixated where he wants to be that person. So at this point, Biggie and Tupac were good friends. Diddy was the third wheel. Tupac had no respect for Diddy whatsoever, but Diddy didn't understand that. He thought that Tupac did like him, even when people were telling him straight out, he doesn't like you. He wasn't taking that, but a lot of people said that they felt that Diddy wanted to be like Tupac and Biggie. Right. Where do we start from here? Just make sure. Right, okay, so here we go. This is what I want to cover. Now, Tupac was shot 5 times in a recording studio lobby. So what actually happened was he had been asked by Diddy and things to come to this recording studio, and he'd went quite the thing. But in the lobby, he was shot 5 times and he escaped by getting to the elevator. He got up the lift to the 8th floor. When the doors opened, Diddy was there, Biggie and a few other ones were there as well. And he could just tell that nobody could look at him. No, they weren't making eye contact with him, and they certainly weren't helping him. And he said from that moment he knew that they were either trying to get him killed or it had been a plot to kill him at that point. Now, obviously, that didn't happen. He ended up going to the hospital, but within like a few weeks later, he ended up in jail for his own sexual abuse, I think it was. I'm going to name that SA so we don't get taken off, all right? Just a second. Are we all right on YouTube? Wait a second. Right, okay. Is Beyonce still in her boat? No, apparently off. She was away helping Kamala, wasn't she? But we'll come on to that. Listen, that's tomorrow and the next day and so on. What I did want to cover on with Tupac was that his mum was actually an activist, and so was his aunt. Now, Tupac's bodyguard came forward and said, I know the truth. And he said that Tupac was alive. He had moved to Cuba. Now, it kind of would make sense because after he was shot 5 times, he knew the people who he thought were loyal to him were not loyal to him. But his aunt is actually an activist out in Cuba she's also an American fugitive here. So he does have connections to Cuba. But wait, you hear this? Now, well, the bodyguard basically said that he knew the truth and he was going to bring out the proof and everything to prove that Tupac was there. Then he went missing, or they said that he died. And then a year later, he appeared back on YouTube to basically say how easy it was to fake his own death. And the reason I'm debunking this first is, we've always said, well, Ali, if you're watching, she's always been convinced he's on the island, he's on the island. And we've said for years over different conspiracy theories to do with Illuminati, they're on the island. But I'm now starting to realise the island's where the victims are, where certain things have happened, or people are obviously taking step backs. Right, okay, I've lost where am I now. Right, okay, Tupac held intense opinions, but nowadays these opinions would matter. So back then he was very, very outspoken. It's things now that we are outspoken about, but back then, like the government were not happy with him. They wanted everything, his music, everything banned. He was also on the FBI watch list as a political activist at that time as well, because he was obviously speaking out. He also dated Madonna, but they kept it private. Love letters were sold at auction and Madonna wasn't happy. So basically what's happened is Madonna's PA had threw out like all different things and just sent them away. And when Madonna found out these love letters were going to be released, she then went for legal advice, but they actually said because she'd given them away, even though she didn't realise, they could still be sold at auction. So the sale went through and they were released. Right, okay, wait, sure I've covered everything. Am I okay so far? Right, Jada Smith and Tupac were connected. They went to school together. Possibly dated, it was never confirmed, but Will Smith wrote a book, and said he could never live up to Tupac. Now, the vice president under George Bush at that time took off one of Tupac's songs off the charts altogether, so he was already on the government's radar as well. He called the government the mob. Now, that's what I mean. Back then, like, obviously the way we speak now, I think a lot of people do it, but back then it wasn't like that. Called out all the authorities, didn't like the police. His mother was an activist, part of the Panther 21. Now, Eminem also did a song, Kill Shot. Now, he refers to Diddy in this song, accusing Diddy of being responsible for Tupac's death. And in 2024, Eminem released a song, Fuel. Look, now if you look up the words, you'll see the lyrics. But it also says about Big and Tupac in that as well. Right, okay, we've covered The Bodyguard. Thank you everyone for joining. I'm so sorry my head's down in this book, but I want to make sure I get everything that I've covered with you guys. And the story is that they never dated, but she was infatuated by him. I would believe that. So let's jump on the train because the people they work for are leading donors to her party because they have other interests in the line. Well, we're coming on to that, don't worry. We're going to talk about the freak-offs tonight as well. Screenshot this for later. Watch the channel Tupac Theory on YouTube. It explains everything. Thank you, Frank. Do you think the slaves jumping on the camel train rally are Illuminati? So we have spoke about this in a previous slide, but do not worry. I'm going to do a live for the presidential election because if you've been on my page long enough, you'll know I'm very much interested in it. I love politics. Thank you everyone for joining. Right, okay, so Biggie and Tupac, just to confirm, I don't want to get this wrong and offend anyone. Biggie is the east side, the East Coast, sorry, and Tupac is the West Coast. So Tupac was California, Biggie would have been New York. Now, just another wee link that we spoke about a few weeks ago. If you've been on our lives, I just want to cover Heather's comment. Tupac felt set up by the bad boys. Biggie, he gets shot and mugged. That's correct. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, let's see, where are we? Oh no, I was going to say something. I was too busy looking at Heather's comment. It's all right, Heather, it's fine. Right, okay. Right, so a few weeks after Tupac was shot, he was charged with SA. When he was in the jail, Biggie brought a song out, Who Shot You, naming Bad Boy Records, etc. But it's actually thought, and this is what I want to touch on, that Diddy had pushed Biggie to release this song. So it's like he was trying to get in the middle of it to obviously make this worse. And bearing in mind, at the beginning, Tupac and Biggie were very good friends long before Diddy came into it. And this was way back in 1991. Or just after 1991, sorry. Right, okay. Now, Suge Knight was another music producer where he also had connections with Diddy way back before Diddy was, now we say famous and a celebrity, but when I was down the rabbit hole, I did realise this. He's not actually famous for anything as such other than being a music producer. And you might think, no, Christy's done, I'll be missing you. We'll come on to it. Don't worry. But really, he was a bit of a, in this day and age, a clout chaser because he would basically put himself in with people with a lot more kind of like Biggie, Tupac. He would network. He was a businessman. But also, when he was producing these songs, he kept appearing in Biggie's videos at the back, even though he wasn't a singer or anything like that. So there was a lot said about that when that Biggie didn't want that either, but he would just be at the back and there'd be a lot said, like it was just like the lurking ghost at the back and things. So he was obviously very aware that he wanted his face to be the front of something. Right, okay, although he was a producer, Shook is now in jail. Right, okay, so Shook Knight gave Tupac a record deal while he was in the jail to come and work for his record label. He would then, oh gosh, this is a bit, deal with him just a second, in the hope he would, right, in the hope that he'd take over Biggie, Shook could then take Bad Boy Records. So that was the plan, was if Tupac then went under that record label. But what Shook Knight did as well was actually got in tow with one of Diddy's exes and a child and made sure that Diddy knew about it. So again, it was Shook Knight and Diddy's argument, if you really look at it, whether Biggie and Tupac were stuck in the middle of it. Now, once Diddy started getting bigger and people started to get to know him, he started to kind of muck Shook Knight about a bit, charging him for absolutely everything, where it then got Shook Knight's back up. Shook Knight currently is in the jail for manslaughter and domestic violence. Diddy kept appearing in the videos, as we've already covered. Now, Diddy's son, Justin Combs, now this is the person that Shook Knight had went to see Diddy's son, Justin Combs, and his mum, and it was connected to Shook Knight. Now, some say that he was having a relationship with her, but others say that he just did it to get to Diddy and can't confirm or deny. But after a month later, after Shook did that, Shook's friend gets shot. Sorry. Yeah, Shook Knight's friend gets shot a month later. And there had been threats before it, so I think it was a warning to Shook Knight, but he was determined to take Bad Boy Records. He more featured in the songs than actually done them, 100%. Hi, Moscow. I even read out the name. This is what I wanted, the Diddy story with Scottish accent. Good job, YouTube. Yeah. Right, okay. Right, okay, so Biggie was always obviously with Faith Evans, but he was actually having an affair with Little Kim. And it was said that he was quite violent to both of them. Now, Little Kim confirmed this, but Faith Evans didn't confirm or deny. But a week after Tupac got out of jail, he went to visit Faith Evans, and it was reported that they had slept together. But Faith Evans denies this and says that it certainly didn't happen, and that Biggie was happy for Tupac to work with Faith Evans. Now, Tupac told the New York Times that Faith bought him a new shirt, suit, and he did more than enough to thank her. I feel that was more a dig for Biggie. I don't feel they did sleep together, but I also think that the fact that Biggie and Tupac's friendship ran so deep that he probably trusted them and knew that he wouldn't go there. You never know, but apparently he was very aggressive to Little Kim, and that had also come out as well. Now, September the 7th, 1996, Mike Tyson fight in Vegas. Tupac was sitting in the passenger seat of Shook Knight's car and was shot 4 times out of 14 shots. 6 days later, Tupac succumbed to his injuries. Brings in the conspiracy theory, whether he's dead or alive, because it was 6 days later before he passed. Now, it is said that Snoop Dogg went to visit Tupac just before he passed, and he said he was very upset when he was in the room, and Tupac's mum had said to Snoop Dogg, now I think Snoop Dogg and Tupac had a bit of beef just before it, but again, they'd been friends for a long time, and his mum had said to Snoop Dogg, like, you need to be brave, you need to be strong, even though she knew she was losing her son, she was trying to get them to be all strong. Oh, I just think there's something in that. We'll come back to it. Snoop Dogg went to visit her, yeah, so we've covered that. It was the start of a 10-day conflict, between the East Coast versus the West Coast. There were shootings everywhere. Diddy denied it. He was scared, apparently, that he was going to be next. 2 days after Tupac dies, Biggie gets arrested for cannabis possession. When he gets out, his car won't start. He gets a rental and ends up in a crash with a fractured leg. He had to be cut out and in rehab for 2 months. Now, that injury caused him a lot of problems, where he had to stop his work for a little bit as well. And that's why I want to come on to, like, he was going on a European tour and things like that before he was killed. Thanks, Hirty, for joining. Faith Evans was paid by Diddy to be with Biggie. 100%. Do you think? Oh. Right, okay, so Biggie was obviously receiving death threats after the 10-day conflict as well, and he was very, very paranoid. It was well noted within the media how paranoid he was, and he was meant to be going on a European tour, and at the very last minute, Diddy was pushing him to go to California, to LA, to do a tour there. He wasn't very keen in doing it. He'd expressed again, and just before they were getting there, Diddy's team was basically saying, and we need more security. We don't have enough security for him considering what's going on. Just read this before I say it to you. So they were basically driving along, and there was 2 cars. There was Suge Knight as well as Diddy. Now, Diddy had said at the last minute, and they had the bodyguard that had been brought in just to basically protect Biggie, and they brought the bodyguard into the car with Diddy and said, no, I want you in here. And the bodyguard said that when he got in the car, when the car was going, Diddy was sitting way back, and that didn't happen very often. Like, he knew something wasn't right. Within 4 or 5 minutes, Biggie had been shot in the car behind them. They'd pulled him out. They were also trying to work on him and things like that, and obviously he died. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So bearing in mind, up until that point, Diddy was a producer. He was just trying to get his neck in everywhere. But he had obviously lost Tupac. He'd lost Biggie by this point. So everybody he inspired to be, there was space for that. And he was going to create that space for himself. He released the song. And I think, and obviously we'll know this already, but the song I'll Be Missing You, obviously it was for Biggie. And he released that pretty much straight away. Now, bearing in mind, there were a lot of whispers, there were a lot of the industry speaking that he was responsible for both these deaths, and then he's releasing a song. Obviously, like we do, everyone jumped on it. This made him famous in a lot more different ways. It probably gave him a lot more leverage as well. Now, this is just the skim of the gang side of this. Obviously, in the background of this, Diddy's love life's going on as well, so we're going to come on to that in a minute. Right, okay, let's see. Right. Let's look at some of your comments before we go on to the next bit. We are going on to the freak-off parties next. What do we think? Ah, Sharon. Thank you, Armando. He has to pay Sting $2,000 a month for that's right, because the song was Every Breath I Take. I think Sting gets the full royalties for that. But this is just something to touch on, actually. This is what Diddy would do with his artists. He would get them into Bad Boy Records. He would then did what he liked. The minute they said, nope, don't like this, don't like that, or didn't feel comfortable to the things we come on to next, trigger warning to what we are coming on to next. The minute they said no, then chaos would descend, absolutely descend. Thanks, Frank. Hi in Kenya. I do think with Tupac, when we were deep diving it yesterday, I felt very sad because I thought these 2 people have actually been good friends, and it's because other people have got involved that it's made it worse, where it's became then like a gangland war, basically, between the East and the West. And again, Tupac didn't have a lot on his side, and the sad reality is these were young boys, 24 and 25, where I kind of, I do think that possibly Tupac's still alive. I don't think Biggie's alive, but I think Tupac's still alive, and I'll tell you why in a second. My Uncle Pac is going to Cuba. No bother, David. Cheers. Can't wait for 50 Cent to bring out the documentary. There's to be names that's going to shake the world. The whole link with Diddy and Usher kills me. But that's the thing. Again, it's like, so the Illuminati, it's something I'm going to come on to in a, where is it? I've lost it now. Did I move that page? Right, okay. The Bully, which apparently is a branch of the Illuminati, which then would signify that Diddy's not the biggest part, which we knew anyway is not the biggest part of the Illuminati. Now, we've not come on to Beyonce and Jay-Z. Thanks, Beyonce. Sorry, Beyonce. I'll see you next week, Beyonce. We will do that next week, all right? But what they're basically saying is that obviously with the underground tunnels, Hugh Hefner, the street that Diddy lived in, Kylie Jenner also lives in it as well, Hugh Hefner and a few other people who we've already touched on already. Someone had wrote in the comments today, and I thought this is something worth mentioning, that someone from America had said, is it all the bangs and everything we're hearing in the sky right now, is that them blowing up the tunnels? I feel something's going on, put it that way. But I feel Diddy's life is hanging in the balance over the election, and that's why when someone had said earlier, I'm coming on to it, I'm coming on to it. Oh, the comments are quite nice on YouTube tonight. I think I'm getting them back it up, don't we? So obviously Illuminati, a few of you have asked, and again, it's just satanic rituals. They say they do a lot with animals, and it's obviously their faith, their prayer. One thing I'll say about Diddy, he changes his name a lot. He's now known as Brother Love. You think Puff Daddy, P Diddy, what was the other names? So I can imagine within this as well, there's an identity thing. Do you think there's underground tunnels? I do, yeah. Thanks, David. The new look. I've washed my hair, guys. This makes me giggle so much. She's been writing the video. Christy, your hair's looking great. I'm like, oh, I just made an effort. Sorry for the noise. One of my twins are not very well today. They've had a bit of a tummy bug, so you can imagine. Right, okay. What are we going on to next? Right, okay, so we're going to the Diddy's home, the Homeland Security raids. So it was said that Diddy's home was an experience of its own. You were mesmerised from the minute you went in to the minute you left. The staff would be there waiting as soon as you went in, over attentive. But it was also said it felt like their staff was kind of on edge at times, as if they were waiting. And they were constantly, when you went in, you were given his own made tequila. So they did say that the staff were very, very much on edge, but they couldn't do enough for you. What, Gillian? Right, okay, let's do it. Kylie Jenner and Hugh Hefner also live in the same street. The house is on the market for 6.1 million right now, just in case anyone wants to buy it. He had a statue of Kim Porter's torso in steel. This is in the house that was raided. Both sons were in the house at the time when the house was raided. Now, P. Diddy wasn't. He had another £40 million house in Miami, and it was also raided at the same time. So obviously the Homeland Security had decided to do them at the exact same time to startle them and surprise them. He was at the airport in Miami at that point, and if you remember rightly, when this all broke out, you can see a video P. Diddy walking up and down on his phone. And obviously this is him getting the news that Homeland Security are raiding both properties at that point. So he knew he was gubbed. That is when they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Now, obviously, his lawyer, which, here's a prediction, I feel his lawyer's going to change in the next 2 weeks, but I think I would sack that lawyer as well. Oh, that's the thing I was going to come on to the New York thing. I need to come back to it. His lawyer said that it was in bulk from Costco, and Costco says, no, we don't want anything to do with it. That's not from us. We don't do that. I don't blame them. But I think that was the first sign for P. Diddy to realise that, in fact, people are not going to take your story. They're not going to stick with it and say, yeah. One thing I want to touch on when Heather put me off earlier, I'm blaming Heather. The New York mayor, who we touched on in one of our previous lives, who is getting done for fraud at the moment, big connections obviously around New York. He is being represented by, I can't remember the solicitor's surname, but the solicitor's Alex someone, who is also representing Tupac's family right now to look more into Tupac's death. Are you telling me that's not a coincidence after what we spoke about? Just saying. Hi, Claire. Remember, like the video, guys, and give us a wee subscribe. Right, okay. Where are we at? Right, okay, I'm just going to read this out as it is. Diddy couldn't slip away from the feds, even though he had 1,000 baby oils. someone's in the comments asking for bank info. Just to make you aware, don't talk to any spammers, just block and report. Would that not be a conflict of interest? No, because it's two separate cases, because the mayor's been done for fraud. But like someone touched on, and I do get it, all this to do with Diddy is very much hanging the balance around this election, and it's trying to work out who's who. Now, it would be easy to say it's Kamala Harris, which I kind of agree with, but I don't know so much, because if you look at the connections with Donald Trump's already got connections to Epstein. It's all there. You can see it now. Way back, before Epstein get caught, there's so many photos of Donald Trump and Epstein together. Donald Trump's also been around P. Diddy, all these different people over the years, Oprah Winfrey. I'm more inclined to say that it's Donald Trump who is connected with the Illuminati, most definitely. Kamala Harris, possibly they could be connected in different ways. In the bathroom, I think. No, the main one. Sorry, they're looking for Calpo. I don't know, Morgan. Kamala was at Diddy's party. But like we touched on already, and we're going to touch on the election anyway, Biden brought Kamala in as vice president, and knowing that he was going to then give it up and know that she could then be in the running. It is American history. It's going to be so interesting to see how this plays out this week. But also, Diddy's got another further 11 cases against him, which we're going to come on in the next few weeks. But I want to cover first one, Cassie's one. Now, if anyone doesn't know who Cassie is, he was with her for 10 years. That is the video where, one of the first videos that came out about him being in the hotel, and he was very, very violent to her, very violent. Eventually she got away, but she was that scared she actually went back. If Trump was an Illuminati man, would they have hounded him in the way that they did? Think of it, the word Illuminati, illuminating something, make it bigger, make it brighter. You do you, Daryl. Christy, did you hear on the news that happened? Yes, I did. It's very sad. And I think anyone who is capable of putting videos up like that on social media should be charged and held accountable and responsible. I can't imagine what that person's family are going through, having to see videos like that circulate. Right, okay. So Cassie's lawsuit was filed in November 2023, but actually it was 2022. Diddy had won a Life Achievement Award. Now, this is interesting. Diddy had won a Life Achievement Award, and in his speech, now they'd been separated like 4 years at that 4 years at this point. Thanks, Cassie, for holding me down in my darkest times. Now, they'd been separated 4 years at this point, but apparently he was daft about her, infatuated with her. And at this point, his new partner was sitting in the audience. Now, although they've been separated 4 years, she felt that was some sort of threat. And you can see the clip if you pop it into your wee notepad, if you want to deep dive later. It's a clip to definitely go back on. You can see how he means it and in his face, but also when they were together, if she was being interviewed on the red carpet, there was a man who had shook her hand, and as she shook the hand, he grabbed her like violently and very firmly and pulled her close. And now she's put in the lawsuit about some bruises that you can see in certain photos and what actually happened. It is very, very sad, but very interesting. Like I said, we were touching on Biggy and Tupac. So he's got all that going on, but he's also got all this going on as well. Now, as I said, the new girlfriend was in the audience. Now, 18 months later, so that speech was given out in 2022. November 2023, she filed the lawsuit against Diddy. Now, the reason this is because a new law came in America. Once we get to it, I'll be able to... I wonder if I can do it just now. Basically, a law came in where it would give people more scope for historical abuse, and she used this law to help her, which was then going to basically let her go back to all those times that it happened, and it wasn't going to be a question of why didn't you say. But the only problem with using the law is it wouldn't be a criminal, it would be a civil case. So just remember that as we're going through this. So when Cassie and Diddy were on and off, Cassie briefly dated Kid Curtley, and Diddy found out. Now, he basically had a tab on her phone. He could look through anything and everything when he wanted. He threatened to blow up kid's house, kid's car in September. The car was blown up. So pretty much she had left kid's house, and when they'd left, the car got blown up. Police never found out, or they never done anything about it. They did report it. The industry apparently knew it was him, but again, no one said anything, and it seems to be a trend and a trait. Apparently, at Diddy's parties, he was screaming at Cassie. So basically, he didn't care that anyone seen that he was abusing her. Now, that shows how comfortable he was at domestic abuse, and we speak about it so often, but it's something to highlight again. Domestic abuse doesn't need to be violence. It doesn't need to be physical. It can be mental as well. If someone's screaming at you, they're shouting at you, they're pushing you, they're taunting you, all that was happening to Cassie, and everyone round about Cassie and P. Diddy never stopped that once, never intervened. There was an incident where Cassie had left an event with Diddy, and it was off the back of shaking the hand with that man, and he'd literally battered her in the car, got her out the car at her house, battered her again, where Diddy's bodyguard ended up getting out trying to help her. He dragged her into the house, did what he did to her again, but the bodyguard does collaborate with the lawsuit for Cassie to say that this did happen. He threw her out the car as well. Also, a journalist, now apparently a journalist was at a party in 2015. Cassie was walking out on her own and asked the journalist, "How are you? Are you okay? Are you managing okay?" Now, apparently that journalist had actually had a SA situation 10 years before, and she just knew that Cassie knew. So obviously it was part of these freak-off parties. Cassie had a contract with Diddy, and on her 21st birthday, he forced himself on her. So basically what happened was, on her birthday, he'd arranged for her to go out and do something. She didn't want to do what he wanted to do, but he basically raped her. He made her take a pill. She was too scared not to take the pill. Turned out it was ecstasy. She could not refuse, as he was using the 10-song contract. So she had a contract with Diddy, and what was happening was he was manipulating, saying, if you don't do this or don't do that, the next song's not getting released. Do you think people didn't speak up because they knew he had people killed? Definitely. I know, Frank. I will have a wee look. Thank you. But he actually paid for everything in Cassie's life. The car, the home, absolutely everything. You might think, oh, that was a great life. Like, well, no, it's actually like control. It just gave him more control over her. Right, he didn't like the word no, as we know. He would hide Cassie in hotels. So basically he would batter hell out of her, whether it be at an event or afterwards, and then she would need to go and stay in the hotel for a week to heal. She said when that happened, that's when she was starting to think, like, this isn't right, this is not a good situation. But he would shower her with gifts. Again, manipulation, to remind her, like, oh, you're doing it for a reason. Even at the freak-offs, he would, like, shower and present her with gifts in the middle of a freak-off. Again, just to remind her why she was doing it. Now, this is... He beat her up in front of her friends and apparently dangled one of her friends off a 17-floor balcony. And that is in the lawsuit as well. The friend was trying to help her, but again, he was isolating. And again, that's what abusers do. They try to isolate their victim from everyone because they know that everyone else will tell the victim he's the abuser or she's the abuser. The assault was that bad that she was sent into a hotel room to heal. Then when Cassie realised everyone around Diddy knew, so basically she was starting to wake up at the hotel and think, everybody's seen it happening, but nobody's protecting me, nobody's saving me. She said that when it would happen or he would be violent to her, people would just start to look away, and like, as if, it's not as if they were scared of it, it was just normal behaviour. We'll remember, Frank, don't worry, Heather's there. Let's see. And obviously his security guard, Rogers, tried to stop an altercation, which he again corroborates with Cassie's lawsuit. Right, what else we got? In Cassie's 29th birthday, now this is an interesting one, Diddy was angry because, right, so basically he'd organised Cassie a surprise 29th birthday, but his people were putting a lot of pressure on Cassie's friends to get her ready, ETA, she had to be there on time. So they said that they were quite frantic and everything, it wasn't enjoyable, everything was all over the place. When they got there, she, for whatever reason, after a while, they decided to go to this karaoke bar with her friends. She goes to the karaoke bar, Diddy comes in, basically drags her out, and she basically shouts at her, and this is where it's reported that she was backed into a corner with all Diddy's security staff. Well, Diddy was just basically having a go at her, calling her ungrateful, calling her all horrible, horrible words. And her friend was a bit scared and popped her head out to see are you all right. She said that Cassie just gave her eye contact. She said she had to get back in. They were all really scared, and Cassie came in and said, just go back to mine and I'll get you back there. Like, it'll be fine, just go back there. So that's what they did. They went back to Cassie's house. They all went to bed, and she was woke up at 3 in the morning by, now, I think it's the girl's called Red something. Just a wee second, I'll tell you her name, who we're speaking about here, because she does come up in the legal suit as well. Tiffany Red. Tiffany Red said that she had went to sleep and woke up, and Diddy was shouting like abuse to her about her singing, and was basically saying she'll not give me birthday. And they were saying if she doesn't want to do it, she doesn't need to do it, and he basically dragged her off. And she later tells her friends that she was dragged off to a freak-off party, which is basically a party where there's a name for it, vixens or something, I don't know, we'll need to go back on it. But it's basically people want to watch other people having sex, different things, and forced sex as well at that. So she would then get pulled to these freak-off parties, be drugged. There would be ketamine, cocaine, alcohol, cannabis, all sorts, and they were being topped up with it while these freak-off parties were happening. Now, originally, they would only happen now and again, and then Cassie said they started to happen more and more often, like once a week, sometimes twice a week, to the point that she was then always out her face in drugs, but she was then starting to orchestrate these freak-offs. She had to get the people in the door. She had to go and find the people that were coming to these. So she played a massive part at one point in these freak-off parties as well, which I can imagine that, and it's something you just click, maybe she's filed a lawsuit in November 2023 because she knew something was coming out, and if she didn't file the lawsuit, although it's civil, then she could incriminate herself or somebody else could incriminate her. Makes so much sense. Subscribe, love how much homework you've done. 1921 pages here. That's right, I'm not really looking at the comments. I want to keep going because it means a lot that I get all this out. Right, here's another part as well though. He was drugging everyone. They were lasting days. So these freak-off parties wasn't just a wee 2-hour number. These were days and days and days. So then he would give them all an IV drip because the amount of drugs that they'd taken at the end of the freak-off, because he had to. I can't imagine how many people maybe died in that situation as well, because, again, like the drug intake, or how many people's heads are completely gut because of it. Now, this is an interesting one. She was obviously coordinating everything, but if you look back in the photos, you'll see Cassie always has white nails. And that was something Diddy wanted constantly, was the white nails for the freak-offs, because he liked the contrast against the man's body. Like, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. She said there were a ton of drugs present: ketamine, ecstasy, cocaine, cannabis and alcohol. After the freak-off, they'd all get their IV fluids because of all the drugs use. The freak-offs were becoming more and more frequent, at least once a week, watching him have sex with Cassie and others against their will. He would also beat her in the freak-offs and make her say things, all in the lawsuit. So I'm not going to get into what he was making her say. It's just, I think it's just far too triggering. So you can see what happens in these kinds of things. The abuser abuses the girl so much that the only relief is to recruit others. Is vicious, 1,000,000%. But also, like, manipulation to the point that she thought that that was right in the end. His mum had white nails as well. Do you know his mum was on the phone when he was getting the blame for certain things, saying, like, just leave it and everything, don't bring my boy down like that. I hope you get bad karma. He did his more. He would just, right, this is a creepy part. He would record the freak-offs in Cassie's phone. So see, after it, she would realise and just delete them. And one day they were on a private jet and he mentioned something about it, and he showed her all the videos that she'd deleted on her phone, and they were on his phone. So he was just letting her know that he had, again, full access to her phone, which brings me on to something. If he'd full access to phones and things like that, now bearing in mind, this is after the phone hacking scandal. This is in like 2017, 2018. Who else's phone records did they have access to? What else did they know? Right, so in September, we're going through the breakup now, guys, the breakup. Oh, in fact, this is interesting. A drug dealer went to Diddy's home with a drug shipment for a party. Diddy opens the door with just a robe on, takes him to the back bedroom, and there he is. He said that he saw weird shit, celebrities having a good time together. He said female rappers and sex workers were there, and 2 rappers hooking up that you would never expect to hook up together. And I do feel after Christmas we're going to find out who that is. But I do get that. No, I'm not going to say the names just now, because one's quite an old name. Begins with an M. M for mother. We'll keep that just for now. In September 2018, she finally decided to leave Diddy. They went to an Italian restaurant in Malibu. She said he took it quite well at the meal. Decided to drop her off home. I wouldn't get in the car room. But as he dropped her off home, he then started to attack her. He dragged her into her home. He took her clothes off. He raped her. She kept saying no. He then fled the apartment. She fled the apartment, left the car, everything. A few months later, her new address was leaked online. So after that night, she didn't see him. But as soon as she got her new address, it'd been leaked online. So again, he obviously had connections everywhere. The name of a Meat Mills rapper. He's got daughters. His daughters are backing him up. And there's so much damning evidence against him. It's not... Right, so Cassie moves on and she marries a personal trainer in 2019. She goes on to have 2 beautiful daughters. She sued Diddy in 2023. So obviously it was a civil case. Now, this is the part I want to get to. The New York Survivors Act that allows this to look back window for adult victims with sexual abuse. It would be a civil lawsuit against him regardless of when the abuse took place, as long as there was no outstanding lawsuit. So obviously at that point there wasn't. So she's took that civil at that point. I'm wondering if it's because it's been civil to then that's why maybe certain things have happened as well. Diddy said it is all false and Cassie is a cheater and willingly participated in those free costs, but Diddy did offer an 8-figure sum, but it was rejected. Surely that is an admission. So although he had said that he denied it 100%, definitely not me. He secretly had offered them a sum. They denied it, but in the end, it did settle out of court. He put a post up basically to say, like, I'm still, like, that's not an admission of guilt. I'm just paying this off and whatever else. And his solicitor basically put up saying, yeah, it is an admission of guilt, because if you weren't guilty, you would have took it the full way, considering the amount of money that he's got. They did settle. It looks like something around 30 million, but the amount has not been disclosed. It just doesn't feel... this is what I did write down, actually. I put them in wee blue notes to remind myself. Like, it didn't feel in her benefit to do it through civil, like, if that makes sense, because it was only money. And I don't feel that's what she was in it for, but I wonder if that's... Again, I feel like the feds were on him for a long, long time. Again, probably from the Epstein case going forward. And also, and this is what I do love about social media, people who are making so many different videos to educate people around what's going on. I feel has made a massive difference to this case. Right, so after that was lawsuits back to back for Diddy. March 2024 brought the raid. Now, this is where it gets interesting. March 2024, Diddy had a private jet, a matte black one, and it went missing. And it ended up in, where did it end up? Just a second. Because I found this really, really interesting. I was like, that's an island. No, I can't find it. Begins with an A. I might need to come back to it. Does anybody know? No, it's not the Bahamas. So basically what happened was, in March 2024, the plane went missing. Now, what I mean by went missing is right off the radar altogether. And an aircraft can't just do that. And what's happened is, Antigua, thank you, Eileen Grundy. Eileen Grundy is all over this. I'm sure she's our graphics woman. So that's the last place that it was, but that was March 2024. So it's like he already had a heads up. And I think, by the looks of it, he thought he was going to get out of this alive. Right. We obviously spoke about Costco. The raid was in March 2024. He did not get arrested until September 2024, 5 months after freedom. Now, when he was out in freedom at that point, he was posting videos of, whitewater rafting, out with his friends, dinners, and he was commenting how free he was. He'd really thought he was winning, and I psychically get that as well. So what we've got to ask ourselves, what changed? What changed? Was it not Cape Verde? I don't think so, no. Antigua. Cape Verde is quite a holiday place at the moment. Can you imagine just floating up there? Right, okay. He was also known for sending naked photos to the nannies, his kids' nannies. What the hell? Right, in 2019, Diddy was with a girl. Now, I've not named her in it because you can deep dive it if you want, but I don't feel she's massive to this case. I feel this is just an add-on from now. Now, she's only 21, so what age is Diddy? In his 50s, gives me the book. Paedophile. She claimed he'd been with Diddy for 6 years, so she was with him. Now, she was 21, so do your maths. Again, she was underage at that point as well. But Cassie knew about this. So basically, Cassie had actually got in touch with her and said, stay away from him. Like, obviously, Cassie knew she was just a young girl, but she kept seeing him. Now, she had 2 pregnancies in that time with Diddy as well. He made her get rid of both of them. He battered her at after parties, raged with jealousy. He hit her at the hotel with a stiletto in her face. She claimed everyone turned a blind eye. She claimed that 2 pregnancies, they were terminated and fueling her with drink. So the girl was also claims that Diddy's nanny was sending him naked photos. So this was quite recent. CNN posted the footage of the hotel abuse, and then everyone realises Cassie's telling the truth. So I think Cassie took a lot of heat before that, but also a previous ex had went onto a podcast and kind of said everything, and it didn't really even go viral. Everybody was like, yeah, she's just wanting money off him. He paid the hotel security. So obviously when the video came out through CNN, the first question that was raised was, why is this video just being seen now? What, especially how violent it was, because he paid the hotel security $50,000 in cash to give him the copy. So obviously the security man's kept a copy as well. But apparently, now this is, obviously the case hasn't took place yet, so keep your eye out for this. But apparently he's blaming the government for leaking the video. Yes, he was putting his house and jet up for bail, but he wanted stipulations added to it. Obviously, Tiffany Red collaborating for Cassie with the police, so she's openly said she is fearing for her life. So now he knows that it is Tiffany Red that is basically giving the heads up around evidence. Obviously, with accounts of evidence, you need 2 people to confirm it. So he now finds out that it's her. She's obviously a bit scared. So that's why when people are saying about Jaguar Wright and things like that, I don't feel Jaguar Wright's got that much to worry about. She is just blown off, and she could be correct in what she's saying, but she's just picking it up from everybody else. Whether people like Tiffany Red, who've actually been round P. Diddy, who P. Diddy genuinely has a hatred for, I think they've got people are more reason to worry than your Jaguar Wrights. Now, there's 100 so far in this case. This could have changed from today, but as from today's date, which is the 3rd of November, there is 120 victims, 60 male, 60 female, 25 minors, aged 9 was the youngest. Now, obviously, the 25 minors are in with the adults now, but at the time they were minors. Many abuse took place at auditions and events within the industry. They set up victims' helplines, and within 24 hours, there were 12,000 calls. So the minute this happened and they set up a victim helpline, there was 12,000 calls within 24 hours. Frank, I hope you have subscribed. Christy's been talking on this for hours. Forever, thanks. Also, one of the Dana Kane members is named to corroborate Cassie's story. I can never get that word right. Thank you, Heather. And we did touch on Dana Kane last week and the week before, and then all of a sudden it's been on the news and things, so it's so interesting. Remember and give the video a like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Right, okay. Now, many abuse took place, as we said, at auditions. Now, this is where we're talking about celebrities are scrubbing their social media, they're deleting their texts, they're distancing themselves, and they're leaving America. Like, literally leaving. We've already spoke about it. But the bodyguard who was involved in one of the shootings was also involved with the J-Lo shooting. So there's your connection right there. Right, have I covered everything? I have. What do we think? Thank you, everybody, for joining. Naked Eye more tunnels than rabbits hole. It's shocking, isn't it? So I have predicted that Kamala Harris will win the election. It is just my opinion. I'm getting nervous, guys. I'm getting nervous because people keep messaging, saying, Christy, are you sure it's not this or that? And I'm like, no, I've got to stick with my work. I've got to stick with what I get. Where are they going if they're leaving? So Europe. We've got Ryan Gosling in the UK all of a sudden as well. Deleting text won't do nothing as police can get deleted text and back. It's pretty pointless. Up to 5 years. Willow is saying Will Smith sold her to Diddy. Oh my God, is this true? Kamala is dangerous. I think Kamala and Trump, the lesser two evils. Like it's... The funny thing is, I put readings out last Monday, last minute, and I read for so many people in America. Getting into the Tuesday, loved it. Just because I got to ask them. And speaking to the American people that I've read for, these were all absolutely lovely. There were some in Texas, Pennsylvania. They are Camilla supporters, but not because they want to be, because they feel they're being backed into a corner because they can't, again, back up Trump. Kamala is the lesser of two evils. That's what I think as well. Two sides of the same coin, totally agree. You said you would tell us what you thought about Tupac still alive. I do think he's still alive. I think he's in Cuba. I think he was a 25-year-old boy. His auntie was already out there. He knew he had risked to life. He knew he couldn't trust Biggie. He knew he couldn't trust Suge Knight and Diddy. He knew Diddy wanted to be him. This is why. Oh, wow. Right, okay, sorry, thank you. This is why I think he's still alive. Are you ready for it? So, Kim Porter's memoir comes out. And the name on it is... Oh, I'm going to get this wrong just a second. Is it Jamil? I need to get this just a second. Kim Porter's memoir is under the name of Jamil T. Millwood. And that is the name that allegedly Tupac also used to use as an alias. So the author of that, Dwayne Keith Davis, was charged for Tupac's death in September 2023. Now, I believe that man did try to assassinate Tupac. What got me was the 6 days. Tupac's mum's behaviour, Snoop Dogg. Now, that wasn't reported like that. I just psychically get that she seemed more content with listen, don't worry. Like, whether Snoop Dogg was feeling very repentant for the things that him and Tupac had went through and stuff. Whether she was very, very strong. Like I said, his auntie is an American fugitive in Cuba. Do I think he's going to reappear? Nope. Are we going to see clues for the next 10 years? 100%. Will we find out when he's probably about 82? 1,000,000%. But I do think Biggie's dead. And it makes me really sad because if you look, obviously what we spoke about tonight, this would never have escalated to gangland east and west versus east versus west, if Diddy and Suge Knight had never got involved. Suge Knight is now in jail for manslaughter. And Will Smith has built in a room for his own surgeon doctor to come after he attacks Jada so she doesn't have to go to hospital. So he's got a private plastic surgeon to come. Is that true, Jay, or is that allegedly? I don't know if I get that. Tupac must be hanging with MJ and Elvis. So, it is, oh, here we go. I'm going to take you down another rabbit hole. But it is said that Michael Jackson's death is connected to 2 attorneys. Go down that rabbit hole. Have we enjoyed it? And isn't it funny how Tupac keeps releasing music and it seems to be with the times and up to date? Dwayne Keith, this is another story actually. Dwayne Keith Davis was the hitman for Tupac, and he said that he was offered £1 million off of Diddy, but he was never paid. But there was a middleman between them, and it was said the middleman took the money. I do think Diddy is going to be held accountable for Tupac and Biggie's death. I'm not at the bit where Jay-Z and Beyonce, I can't place how they've got into this yet, so we're going to need to come back to that one. Leave that a week or so with me. But I found this very, very interesting. More so because the amount of connections is unreal. Oh, you've missed it all. Shake it sense. Don't worry, I'm going to post the video soon and you can sit back and relax. My wife cooked for the Smith family, been to 2 of their homes. Have you? Not Topher Games, but I don't really think you have either, so it's okay. We're all in the same boat, and I don't really think I would want to go. God bless you, repent. That's all right. God bless you. Amen. Oh, thanks, Beyonce. Wait, thank her. No, I'm not thanking her. Come for me, Beyonce. I'm over it. But what I would say is the industry, no, obviously, but how many other people are involved in this is what I want to speak on. So does that mean all the staff at P. Diddy's house is going to be held accountable? Does that mean that all the drivers for the other celebs that were part of that, are they going to be held accountable? How deep are they going to go with this? I know Jesus loves me. I love Jesus as well. Calm down. Believe Tupac is alive. Diddy paid off so many people. I don't think Will Smith is the evil one. 1000% is Jada. I kind of agree with you. I feel, I'll just give it. I feel Jada's the abuser in that situation. I said it. What does this thanks Beyonce thing mean? Well, if you don't thank her, it's off with your head. I think there's 13 deaths connected to Diddy at the moment. Heather, are you arguing with trolls? You can tell for the Kevin Hart thing. Called it for day one with Kevin Hart, definitely. Michael Jackson knew his time was up because he was worth more money to them dead than alive, if that makes sense. Right, the Liam Payne thing, I will say this, all right, we've spoke about it before around the drug side. It is very, very obvious the Illuminati's drug trafficking. They take the black private jet, they take drugs from one country to another. I can imagine if Liam and Diddy had their moment of friendship, that Diddy would have said, it's fine, I can get you drugs anywhere at any time, just you let me know and there'll always be somebody there. So I can imagine there is connections around that as well. But again, the Illuminati, like we said, it's not like they go and sign up for it and say, right, yes, this is what you need to do. It's more to do with temptation. You want that drug? Right, you need to come and do this. Come here and you can get that drug, but look what we're doing when we take that drug, that kind of thing. Why did Kevin Hart and Will Smith really fall out? The slap seemed randomly. Illuminati, more embarrassing them, illuminating something. So it was Jada they were putting in on, weren't they? People selling their souls. Today they're talking about a stolen watch in Liam Payne's room. I was going to say it's Chris Rock for the slap. Chris Rock, sorry. But God's sake. SJ, you've got them all going nuts. Too funny. Have you enjoyed it? Have you subscribed? Have you liked the video? Because we are going to be live this week because it is the American election, or the presidential election. And I'm all about that. And it's just simplifying it. Now, obviously, we will not know on the 5th who is elected, but it is worth a watch for you to enjoy politics and to see what's going to happen after this election with the Diddy case. Another case, just to go back on, the Brian Koberger case, I can't say his name, case, the Idaho murders. There has been a trial date set. They had to change it, so he was either offered May or September next year. His defence went for September. The other defence went for May, so I think it's going to be May. They are saying that there's a lot of damning evidence against him. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. So just remember I said it. Thanks everyone for joining. Old rapper, can't remember his name, said you go to the party, wake up, don't know nothing except your butt is sore. Then you get asked to do stuff, say no, and then you're showed your videos. Wow. I believe that. I believe P. Diddy's gay, no doubt about it. And Jay-Z. I said Jay-Z's been gay for ages and yous were all shouting at me last year, remember? Oh, congratulations. Congratulations, SJ. What did you call her? I don't have any updates on the Luke Mitchell case, but I did see that Sandaline's not part of it now either. Never watched a live this long. Thank you. What about the missing frontman for the Manic Street Preachers? It's something I want to look into. I did pop it into a post. Fallon. That's lovely, SJ. Oh, listen, enjoy your baby bubble. Looking forward to next Sunday. I can't thank yous enough. Anne-Marie Gallagher, 1935. Why are you getting involved in all these celebrity conspiracies? Well, Anne-Marie, you've obviously not been here for very long. We've been getting involved in this for about 6-7 years. So mind your own. Oh, really, SJ? Oh, Kaylee's going to love that. I did. It's really sad. Oh, Dana, yeah, I seen it earlier. They are good. The twins are doing great. One of them's got a wee tummy bug at the moment. We're at the fireworks earlier, though. Did you hear about that actor that's been caught grooming? It is in our predictions. I will share some. Heather has got them all screenshotted just for whenever the validations come in to put them straight out. I think so as well, Sarah Irvin. It was like a distraction, that slap with Chris Rock, yeah. But maybe it was that Willow. His daughter was threatening to speak out. I love it. I love it. Yep, he was in Corey. And for the budget that was announced, that's already in our predictions as well. This chat is absolutely on point. Thank you so much. We did speak about Faith Evans in the very first week. Now, if you're looking to go back in some of our previous Sunday Night Lives, there is a playlist where I've just named it Illuminati, funny enough. Thank you so much. Love your accent. They've been nice tonight on YouTube. Christy, when I had my last reading, you said you could see a baby girl. Had my baby girl Sophie, who's now 5 months. Any more babies for me? Oh, you're keen, Claire. Congratulations. Oh, I get July time, but I get another baby girl. It's probably had more to do with domination and humiliation than being actually gay. Good comment, yep. I need to rewatch them all, Christy. I don't get time anymore. Are they all on YouTube? They sure are. And we were live on YouTube on Thursday night. Thank you to everyone who joined. I've been watching the lives back for the last few days. I didn't feel very well after live. If you remember, anytime I do a ghost hunt, it drains me. And on Friday, oh, I was worth nothing, but I loved the live. I loved doing it. The host of the venue absolutely loved it as well. So it was an all-rounder, a good night. And Zoe the dog's back home. Seems all right so far. Everybody's still alive. So, but we got home at like 2:30 in the morning. Hi, Christy, been following you every Sunday now for the past few weeks. I think you're fab. I'm so into the Diddy case, but did you cover the Jay Slater case? I didn't, because I didn't feel it was a case. At the time, I was saying pretty much what happened had happened. The exact same with the Nicola Bulley. It's not something I jumped on either, because I don't believe it was a case. Madeleine McCann case is on our YouTube. You'll be able to go and check it out, Anne-Marie, it's a playlist for the crime cases. Zoe the doll is saged and in the bag in the cupboard. There we go. Sharon Beck 100% could see he just wasn't interested in being near him at all. Danielle, they said they bought bulk baby oil from Costco, but Costco says, no way. Not Costco's, I'm not taking that on. The live was brown. I thought Zoe was lovely, but not the room she was in. Oh, I know. Oh, we thoroughly enjoyed it, really enjoyed it. But like I said, then when we finished, we were like, the girls were starting work at like 7 in the morning. So we were trying to get back home, but then we were like, oh, how often are we out this late? So we all went for something to eat. So we didn't go home at about 2:30 in the morning. Doing the Delphi murders trials in court now. Do you think it was Richard Allen? I'm not sure on the case. Oh, I don't know. Halloween as always was amazing. That's good, dog. You keep thinking of that word. You really project what you are. Just remember when you're writing it. Oh, I will have a wee look into it. Do you know, can I say though, I keep getting tagged in so many things in TikTok, and thank you so much. Please do not think I'm rude. I try and get through it and like all your comments, but like this weekend I wasn't on TikTok, so when I came on I was overwhelmed by the amount of notifications. But I know when I get a chance I'll go through them, and they do help with my lives, so I do appreciate it. My last reading with you, you predicted I would change jobs and work in a school. This has happened. I have another reading booked with you tomorrow. Can't wait. All looking forward to it. Moira. I've not watched Blink twice, no. Are you able to watch them on here? Yep. So if you are on our YouTube at the moment, can you see a wee bell? Can ring it, subscribe, and then you'll see our wee photo. You can click on that. That'll take you to our channel, and you'll see at the top, it will show you all the playlists, and it's in Crime Stories or the Illuminati, depending on what one you're looking for. How much is a reading for you in video chat? £40 for Zoom. Just PM our page on Facebook or Instagram. Watching from Pakistan and loved your ghost hunt content, miss. Thank you so much, Saeed. Oh, some of these comments are held for review. Oh, I can see why they're held for review. I've watched every true crime video. I promise another one will come soon. There was a big live on TikTok today about ascetics, were they? Oh, I've missed it. What was the script? Fill me in. A big creator's training to do it. Oh, tell me no more. I have made predictions about the ascetic world, and just to give you the heads up, there was a little bit of good news about Amy. I think she's sitting up speaking. So Amy, if you're watching this, we are all sending you so much love. But it'll be stories like Amy's stories and other people's stories in the background that you guys don't know about yet, that will change the course of this, believe me. Believe me. Dr. Michael. I love that, Dr. Michael. I'm always trying to get an appointment with him. I'm kidding. I've not seen these videos. I need to go and have a look now. I know. Can't wait for another true crime story. What case would you like me to cover? Pop it in the comments just now before we go. It really is, isn't it? Oh. Right, guys. I've done the Margaret Fleming case. You and Dr. Mike would work well together. Oh, dream come true. Would that be with me or one of your team? I don't have a team, it's just me. I don't have any other sidekicks. No, I don't work with anybody else. Oh, right, okay. Oh, is it TikTok politics? Oh, I don't like involved in that. And again, very, very sad to hear the news of Janie Godley as well. She got us all through lockdown, didn't she? I was really, really sad to hear that, and condolences and sympathy to her daughter and her husband and her wee dog, Honey. Can't even imagine. And her daughter has got her talent. All like, her daughter's hilarious. Her talent as well. So I just hope that keeps her going. Yes, my wee Auntie Sadie, thank you for all your lovely comments as well. I was watching her around. Her dad was owner of a flat pizza. She goes deep in. All right. Linda, you've got your reading tomorrow. I love it. The Scottish Vampire case. Never heard of that. Right, okay. Wait a wee second. I like the sound of that. Oh, vampire case. I'm just glad I got all that out. See, when I was writing all this last night, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to make an absolute arse of this tonight. I've done the Madeleine McCann case. It is already on our YouTube if you have a wee nosy. Oh, people are sending gifts or something on YouTube. Don't send that. It's okay. Thank you so much, though. Do you have any pets? Yes. Do you know Piper was out at the fireworks tonight and loved it? Was not one bit bothered. Right, the Scottish Vampire case. I need to have a look into that. I know. Arlene Fraser case from Elgin. I'm sure I had a look into that before, but I certainly will. The Templeton Wood case. Have you seen the documentary about the Royals renting out land to NHS and not paying tax? Also, Charlie. You're joking? Hi in Poland. You want a wee sausage dog, Christy? Oh my God, how cute are they? Don't. No, I can't. Oh wow, I love that. It's just you, it keeps it more personal and authentic. I shall book soon, try and convince my husband that can be my birthday gift. Well, I do gift cards, so that's fine. Just message the page. Thank you so much, Zoe. No, it was a phantom pregnancy, Catherine, where I'm going to throttle her. Oh, but my Anne, and do you know, it was just to let you guys know, because a lot of you always ask about her in the readings and things as well. But like, she taught me everything I knew, mostly anyway. And like I said, we've got many good memories. Somebody's writing on Instagram. What? Any unresolved cases with ambiguity and vastness? Oh, right, okay. I went to your aunt's house years ago. I want a sausage dog. My dog is wired to the moon. Is somebody giving away a sausage dog? Oh, don't do this to me. No, I can't do this. But that other Jelly, it's the dog's to go on Thursday. Oh no, now we're punting pops on live. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for taking me over 7,000 subscribers on YouTube. Honestly, yous are some team. Piper would love a pal. She would stand on it. But it would not be safe in this house between the kids and the dog. Well, I hate hearing that. I'm like, don't say that to me. Oh, thank you. Remember to give us a wee follow. I will pop the daily cards up. I am working tomorrow doing readings. If you would like to book a reading, just PM the page. YouTube, I know you're not over on Instagram, but if you jump over just now, it's Christie's Readings. You'll be able to see that we're live, so you know you're on the right page. Or go onto our Facebook and you'll find the link tree. Teamwork makes the dream work. 100%. Christie's canines. Oh, I've got 2 enough, do you not think? Get another lab, that'll be shining, Heather. Right, you can't see the bell on YouTube. Heather, can you direct, what can you see on it just now? Just so I can tell these wee lovely people where to go before we go. My Cassie likes to be the boss dog in the house. Piper would be the same, to be fair. I get a reading in February. Can I get another one now? Of course you can, Paris. Just PM the page. to go to bed and watch some of the YouTube videos. Haha. Right, night everyone. Shake It Sense, thank you for joining. And anyone who wants to book the Absolute View and Arika, just message Nicola. She is on YouTube. No, she's not on YouTube, she's on Instagram. And it was Nicola's birthday at the weekend, so I hope you did a good one, Nicola. Oh, enjoy Paris, Mary. Press on the name, the bell comes down. There we go. Are we all sorted, YouTube? Don't want to leave you hanging there. Oh, wishing you so much luck. Just think positive. Right, guys, I will be live again this week. We're not waiting to Sunday this week because it is the American election. So what I might do is it'll probably be the 6th that I go live because I would rather wait till the results were in. But we'll see. We'll see. As I said, ring the bell or no bell in mine. Press into Christie's readings and it should come up a subscribe button. We all right with that? Or go into the link tree that's on the Facebook and it'll take you to it as well. You're doing well. Listen, Amanda Wilson, you're doing good. Press on the picture and the bell comes down. Top right. It's like a blind leading the blind over here on YouTube, myself included. I've got my glasses this week, can I just say? I've kept saying last week, Christy, you look really tired. No. My lashes were off. I couldn't find my glasses. I was snogging the phone, trying to look at the comments. I am from Scotland. I'm from Luton. Why Luton? Ask Alexa about the bell. I'm not getting her plugged in. Funny, but keep my Alexa plugged in, you know. Ears everywhere then. Kamala, I feel, will win the presidential election. But I predicted that. Here I go again. You're not going to hear the end of this. Predicted that way back at June time before Biden stepped down. What's your favourite Scotch O'Matey? Firstly, it's not Scotch, it's Scots. S-C-O-T-S. We get quite offended when you call us Scotch. It's Scots. So let's get that right. My granny used to hate that. And if they didn't take the Scottish £10... Oh, I love it, I love it. I'm already subscribed. Love it, Catherine, after all that. You're like, I've already been here. Right, guys, happy Sunday. Remember, Monday is a mindset. Don't let it get to you. Set the intention. I have got this. I am brave. I am strong. I'm going to have a good week. Stay safe, take care, and be kind to yourselves. Happy Sunday.